السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الفاتحة.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
So today we're going to wrap up the Faatihah, and I'll just read it quickly here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the opener, the overture. I seek refuge in Allah from the banished deviant, by the exalting attribute of Allah, the compassionate creator, the unceasingly merciful. All glorification is to Allah, Lord, sustainer of the diverse world, the compassionate creator, the unceasingly merciful, sovereign of the term of account. You alone do we worship, and you alone do we seek for support. Guide us the straightened path. Gift us the straightened path, the path of those upon whom has been your bounty, your grace, not those upon whom has been severity, nor those who are astray. And so you will notice that some of the words are not what you're used to, but that's okay, because I'm trying to be more precise in my use of English that fits the Arabic. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ربنا علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما واللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد. So today we're wrapping up. We're going to speak briefly about all those things because it took us 4 weeks to get here. So we started with the Faatihah more than a month ago, and it took us 4 weeks to get here. And we were doing like 2 ayahs by 2 ayahs, and that or 1 ayah by 1 ayah. Actually, sometimes we couldn't finish it. We just did part of it. So. But we went really deep into the meanings of the words. So alhamdulillah, 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 we are at the final and the wrapping up of our Fatiha today. We're going to speak a little bit about the preservation of Qur'an and how to understand Qur'an and be a Qare. We're going to speak about a few Arabic terms, and as you notice, I call it Arabi. I don't call it Arabic. Arabic is what we speak today in so many dialects. We have Egyptian Arabic, Syrian Arabic, but when we say Arabi, we are talking about the Arabi of the Qur'an, Qur'anan Arabiyan, which is not related to ethnicity. And after we speak about a few Arabic terms, we will also enter our maqam of ibadiyya together, Iyaka na'bud wa Iyaka nasta'in. And we'll talk a little bit about community and continuity. We'll talk about the Siraat al Mustaqeem. Where is it? We'll talk about our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His creation. And we'll talk about Allah's in'am and upon whom it was, Maghdoobi عليهم. They are the earners of severity and who these persons are. And then who are the persons who are astray. And Ameen. So
the Qur'an is the miracle in itself, just the way it is, subhanallah. It is preserved as it was originally compiled, word for word, sound by sound. Some of you who were with us last week, you noticed that we said Siraat is written with a Sad, although the Arabic word Siraat is with a Sin from the root verb sarata. That's even a different letter. But the Messenger, peace upon him, said, you write it with a Sad, you pronounce it as a Sad, Siraat. So there is a distinct reason for every letter being where it is. The way the Qur'an was revealed chronologically, verse by verse, sometimes one verse here, one verse there, is not the same form in which it was arranged when completed, when Angel Gabriel went through it with the Messenger at the end. It was revealed bit by bit, in no special sequence at times, and then it was put in this formation. This formation in itself is a miracle.
And it has a mathematical importance, which I don't understand mathematics at all. So I'm not getting into that. But sometimes when somebody shows me, I'm awed by the mathematical precision of the Qur'an. Like how many times this sound is there, how many times this word is there, what this word means, what that word means. It's amazing. So as Al-Zamakhshari tells us, and he lived in 467, 538 Hijri, which is quite early on. He tells us that the Qur'an was revealed munajjaman. Munajjaman means as part by part. And he says it was revealed munajjaman bima في المصلحة في صالح the listeners. So it's revealed munajjaman for the ummah, for their benefit. And munajjaman means separately marked. And if you would look here, you would find this flower, which is considered a najm in the Qur'an. So what does that tell you? The Qur'an has nujum. These nujum are what we call the context markers. It is crucial that you never say or quote something of Allah's words out of context. It's crucial. If you want to say anything in an ayah, you have to say the whole ayah, because if you just say part of it, it will have a different meaning. And this is what we do as a reporter, you cannot do other than that if you're quoting somebody important and, going on the news. So how about if you're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what he says? You have to say the whole ayah. And if you can, ayah before, ayah after, and give it context. This is what we do, inshallah. So that's what you're going to see. So how to understand Qur'an and how to be a Qare. So to be a Qare, you have to, of course, do something, which is the verb, right? Like if I say you have to be a driver, you have to drive. To be something, you have to do the verb. So to be a Qare, you have to yaqra. You have to do iqra. You have to follow the command, the first command which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent, which was iqra. And it doesn't mean simply read. It's more than that. Reading is part of iqra, but iqra is not merely reading. So when you say I read, ana aqra, you can say that about anything. So you say ana aqra'u qira'atan, I'm reading a reading. And that you can say about anything that you're reading. However, about Qur'an, you cannot say that. You have to say ana aqra'u Qur'anan. So you're not reading a reading, you're not reciting a recital. You are reading and understanding and completing the 6 components of the verb iqra, which are in the lexicon, in which case what you are reading now with your entire self witnessing it, because witnessing is part of iqra as well. Time is part of iqra as well, in the now. All of that makes it what? Makes it Qur'an. It's not a qira'ah, it is a Qur'an. We spoke about that earlier. We can only touch upon them because it's a revision, it's a recap. So Kitabullah, the compilation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, becomes Qur'an. You see, it is called Qur'an when there's a Qare. When there's no Qare, it is a Kitabullah. That's the difference. It's a compilation, it's God's compilation, but it's not actively Qur'an unless there is an active Qare employing the Iqra component. What should I do in order to understand Qur'an? I start by studying the Arabi Qur'an. I cannot study the English and say I'm a Qari. I have to start by studying the Arabi Qur'an. I'm not saying that you're not a Qari if you study the English. I'm saying that to be a better Qari, you have to study the Arabi. So you study the Arabi Qur'an, that's the first thing you do. And then you cross-reference within the Qur'an, because you have to take all the verses that say the same, that use the same word, or that have the same general concept. You cannot just take one and say that this is what Allah says. You have to look at everything that says that same idea or same word, and then you say that this is what Allah intends by that word. And of course, to know the linguistic intention of the word, you have to go back as far as you can linguistically, because Arabic and Arabic are different. Our Arabic tongue has changed. So many words have adopted new connotations. So many words we use differently today. So how to do that? You go to the earliest lexicons. You have them here. One of them, which most people use, is the one of Ibn Manzur. It's called Lisan al-Arab. It is dated in the year 711 Hijri is the date when that lexicographer died, in 700 Hijri. And then that's the one which most people use. And then you have Ar-Raghib al-Asfahani. He died in 502 Hijri. And then you have the one which I use, and that one is the one which the lexicographer died in 395. So that's a few hundred years before the one which everybody uses, which is Ibn Manzur. So Ibn Faris is more authentic as far as being closer in time. I'm not saying the rest are not authentic. They are for their time. But Ibn Faris is authentic for his time, which is what 395 Hijri is when he died. So you can say it's in the 4th century So that's really quite close to the time of Hijrah. It's the closest. And then also we have another bonus when we use Ibn Faris. What? I mean, you can just think what? It is more concise. It is much shorter. Like he will give you a word and give you just the meaning of it and the way it was used by the Bedou there and it was used by people there. And he won't go into details which came upon that word later. So you'd find this person here and this person here telling you everything that came upon that word later. We don't want them. We want the earliest. So this is why I use Ibn Faris. And after you do that, you've done that, the cross-referencing the Qur'an, and then you've used the lexicon, you gain insight, of course, by authentic prophetic tradition, hadith of Rasul alayhi salatu wassalam. Of course, Rasul was ablagh. You know, he used to say that ana bila fakhr, that I'm the most eloquent amongst Arabs, and that's true. And his hadith is full of knowledge and full of enlightenment, and you gain insight further by studying or going to the authentic prophetic tradition. And of course, the knowledge which is left to us by ikhwatana الذين سبقونا بالإيمان, our brethren who preceded us in their faith. And these are the Sahaba, these are the children of the Sahaba, these are all, even let's say here Ibn Faris is one of them. Anybody who left us books and knowledge and things that we are using today, they are ikhwanana who preceded us in faith. May Allah join us all together fi a'la aleyhim, inshallah, because we are what? We are leaning upon their shoulders. They are the ones who raised us to where we are. We would know nothing. Just pretend and just think of yourself. You're born on a desert island and you have nothing, right? What would you know? Nothing. You would have to learn simple things. You will be a very primitive person. So you are here today with the knowledge you have, with the IQ that you have, with the background that you have, all because of someone. And that someone may have been long gone, or actually most of those are already long gone. Your parents, of course, your teachers, of course, but before them, there were generations upon generations of people who brought you this knowledge. We owe it to them to always pray for them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them the highest of maqam also, because they brought us this knowledge. MashaAllah, may Allah bless them all. So that's how you study Qur'an. You need that holistic view. You cannot just say, you know, so-and-so said so-and-so. You have to have that holistic view because it's Allah's words and we don't want to take Allah's words lightly. We cannot, we should not. And if we do, we'll be in trouble, both in the dunya and in the akhirah. So when I said that the first command was iqra, and that we have to follow those components. What are the components of iqra? Now, the components of iqra, I found them where? In the oldest lexicon. In the oldest lexicon. What are the components of iqra? They are those 6 components that, inshallah, we are following when we study and we read in an iqra way the Qur'an. So I'm writing a book about this, inshallah, in both Arabic and English. And when it's out, it will really help you. Let us look at iqra. Iqra is from the root verb qaraya, which in our 10th century Arabic lexicon means 6. It has 6 a component: to gather, to carry, to deliberate, to witness in real time, in the now, and then to serve and share. So sisters who've been with us for a while will tell you that what we are doing now is serving and sharing, inshallah, even though we are still gathering, still carrying, still deliberating, still witnessing in real time. But now we are focusing on serving and sharing. Time is running out, and we feel that our children should grow with the dynamic of iqra, not just related to Qur'an, because this is not just about Qur'an. This is a life principle for life, how to deal with everything. So what you do, and actually if you look at it, even without me telling you anything, just look at it. What is it? Look at it. It's the way you process information. You gather it, you retain it, you think about it, you deliberate, you witness it with all yourself, you know, with all your powers and your senses in real time. And then what do? If you gain any bit of information, usually what will you do? You will impart it. Especially if you're a good person, you won't like monopolize it. You will try to teach it to somebody. So in the end, it's always serving and sharing. In the end, we are always supposed to do that, which is to serve and share. So this is iqra. This is what we're doing, inshallah. It's critical that we call everything by its rightful name, its rightful attribute. This is our main problem as Muslims. We have lost the attribute of certain words. And because we've lost the original meaning of that word, we are using it differently and we're getting mixed up. And you will notice that that is super important for us, for anybody, actually. I mean, if you want to go and, let's say, write a contract between you and anyone, you're building a house, you're buying something, you're whatever you're doing, you want to write a contract between you and that party. If you don't stipulate everything in detail and that both parties agree to the words used, you'll get in trouble. You'll find yourself ending up with something which you never thought you would end up with because you did not use the correct words. So that's what's happening to us. We have to use the correct words. We have to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He said this. What was the intended, what did that word denote? Not what I think it means, but what did it mean at that time? How did the Sahaba understand that word? So it is critical that we call things by their rightful names and rightful attributes, which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first thing He did, He imprinted upon Adam all the attributes. علم آدم الأسماء كلها. He imprinted upon Adam. Adam is an earthling in actually from أديم الأرض. So when I say earthling, it's cute, but that's what it means. It's the أديم الأرض. So he imprinted upon Adam all the attributes, all the names. Why? Because if Adam did not know the description of everything and the name and what it's about, how could Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him any duties and responsibilities? And how could He after that tell him, if you do the X, you get Y or whatever? You cannot give anybody any duties without that person knowing what it's all about. And so that's very crucial that we do get our names correct, our attributes, whatever is around us, and we understand what the Qur'an is saying word for word, inshallah, especially with those things that are crucial to our lives. Okay, now so we're entering Al-Fatiha. There we are. We are at the door. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, even before Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, it's A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitan ar-Rajim. We are standing at the door. Now, before entering, what do we think about? We reflect. We reflect about what? Reflect upon whose door? Whose door am I at? Whose door are you at? Whose refuge do you need? Whose attributes are you acknowledging? Whose guidance, or actually gifted guidance, are you seeking? And then you think on how others have earned severity and gone astray of their own accord. Both things they have done them of their own accord. They earned severity and they went astray of their own accord. That's what the Fatiha tells us. And we think of that before entering. We're standing there reflecting. And then we enter. We enter, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. That's all before we enter. And then Iyyaka na'bud. Iyyaka na'bud, it's the highest maqam, which is the maqam of ibadah. So it's the maqam of ibadah. You are entering into the highest maqam. And as a community of ibad, you are never alone. You are never alone as a community of ibad. We, Iyaka na'bud, we humbly worship, na'bud, humbly adore you. Iyaka nasta'in, we seek support, nasta'in. Nahnu, it's all about what? It's all about the community. You are not alone. In our humble yet highly honored maqam of worship, we present Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with our requests. And we're presenting it not as Iyaka ana, but Iyaka nahnu. We present it as a community. And this is very important. Our shuyukh have always spoken about community and continuity, that we should be focusing on community and continuity, because without community, there is no continuity. Your family, your values will not continue if you don't instill them in your children. That if we don't have a community, there will be no continuity of what? Of our moral standards, our ethics, our faith, our way of life, what is important, everything that you hold important. For that to continue, continuity, you need what? The community to carry it forward. And all of us know the value of community. We are old enough now to know that. As a teenager, you might think, okay, fine, my friends, my school, whatever. But now when the older you get, you realize it's the whole community. When they say that it takes a village to raise a child, you know how true that is. But of course, when you get older, you'll also realize something else. It also takes a village to keep an old person safe. It takes a village to be good caretakers for the elderly. When you are weak, it takes a village also, not just to raise a child, also to give you a dignified existence as an elderly person. It takes a village. So it always takes a village. There's not a time in your life where it does not take a village. It always takes a village. And of course, we have a saying in Arabic, Yadullahi ma'al jama'ah. Jama'ah is so important. Everything we do is nahnu, na'budu, nasta'in. Even when we fast, why do we fast? What do we feel when we fast? We feel that the whole world is with us fasting. So the noon, the nahnu, the community, the continuity, it's so important. And today maybe is one of the best times that you can think of your human race as your community. It's one of the best times that you can also not look just at yourself. How can you as an individual serve your community, but how can your community serve the human race? So it's a good chance for us to look beyond our borders, now in this state that we're in. And you know what? We have a lot to offer. And you know what? People are talking about us. They're talking about things we are offering which they don't have. They're talking about the cleanliness. They're talking about our wudu. They're talking about our love of nature. They're talking about the way we do this, the way we do that. Subhanallah, the way we do things are healthy ways. They're talking about that even when they're looking now at the economic situation. So the way we do things is the healthy way. Inshallah, maybe this whole issue will bring about a new perspective that people will see us the way we're doing things. So here we are in our maqam of worship, presenting our request to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a community, which is crucial for continuity. What is our request? Ihdina. What is our request? Ihdina. What's the meaning of ihdina? It means both guide us and gift us, because the hadiyah is given out of love. And the word huda and hadiyah are the same root verb. When I say ihdini, I could mean guide me, and I could mean gift me. So ihdina is a guided gift or a gifted guidance. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to Siraat al Mustaqeem. So this is all in real time. We are seeking Quranic guidance, but you know what? We can only follow what we are aware of. It's about awareness, and it's about what also? It's about being faithful to what you understand. Because if you are faithful to the Quranic teachings, okay, that's fine, but you are faithful to what you understand of it. So it's very important that you understand the right thing. Otherwise, you're faithful to the wrong thing. We have to be faithful to what we understand, inshallah, that it's what we're aware of, what's correct, inshallah, so that we can follow that. Bi'Iznillah ta'ala. And inshallah, we're saying it every day from our hearts. Inshallah, Allah will continue to guide us. We need His guidance every minute. We're never guided full stop. We are always in need of guidance. So ihdina Siraat al Mustaqeem. What's al Mustaqeem? It's the straightened path. It's not the straight path, but it's the straightened path. It's linguistically true that something is qawwamahu fastaqam. It is not mustaqim unless muqawwam. So before it is mustaqim, it had to be muqawwam, meaning it was not mustaqim, it was not straight, it was straightened. And of course we know that our faith today and the Qur'an and everything in it is not the first guidance to appear on earth. It's actually guidance that has appeared several times. Allahu a'lam how many times before us, and it's been straightened and straightened and straightened until it became what we have today. May Allah guide us to the straightened path. So the straightened path, we looked it up in Surah Al-An'am, say, rise, I will rehearse what your Lord Sustainer has made inviolable for you, muharramat, on the Siraat al Mustaqeem, that's what I call them, al-muharramat ala Siraat al Mustaqeem, that you shirk nothing with him, meaning that you don't shirk him, in other words, because the word shirk is from shirk, that you're not shirking Allah, you're not leaving him to go somewhere else, which is worshipping someone else, which is shirk. And And you have to display ultimate ihsan, ultimate goodness to parents. You don't kill your children due to poverty. You do not come near pervasive sexual atrocity. You do not kill the human cells. You do not come near the wealth of an orphan except with that which is best. You render measure and full weight in justice. And whenever you speak justly, and in the covenant of Allah be fulfilling. Thus does He instruct you forward that you may remember or reflect. Verily, this is my straightened path, pursue it. So in here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually giving it to us and telling us at the end, وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِ مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ. Do not go into any other byways. This is my sirat. And you will notice that in the sirat, most of the muharramat, or most of the do's and don'ts on the sirat are what about our community. Look at them. They're about our community, how to keep our community safe and healthy, how to keep it pure, how to keep it upright, how to mend our relationships and keep them always relationships that are worthy of us as cognizant beings, as insan. Each of us is an anis, is an insan, giving uns, imparting uns to our fellow insan. So subhanallah, subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to worship Him through what? Through being good to others, through being kind to others, through being compassionate to others, through being rightful in everything you give or everything you do. And that's how we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's not, look at the Siraat al Mustaqeem. Do you see prayer there? Do you see fasting there? You don't. Why? Because the acts of prayer and fasting are part of a whole. They're not the whole. They are part of a whole. So when we look at the Siraat al Mustaqeem, it's a holistic, it's a complete way of life. And if you look at it, and you will find that many people, not necessarily of our faith, are following those Siraat, the Siraat al Mustaqeem, in their own way. So Allahu A'lam, you see. So what I always like to say that when people tell me, how will Allah judge so and so, I tell them, how do we know? And why should we worry about that? Just let's each worry about ourselves. Number one. Number two, if that person does not know about Islam, then I'm at fault, not that person. I'm at fault. And if he does know about Islam and doesn't want to follow it, I'm also at fault because I did not portray a model that is attractive to follow. What is this path upon whom, when we say اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, the path of those upon whom you have accorded your grace. So here we have, if you notice, أنعمت أنت, meaning you have given them your grace or your in'am. Whereas the other two, which are going to follow, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not mentioned there, meaning that here it is you have accorded your grace. Whereas in the next two sentences or statements, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not mentioned. So it's their own deeds that got them where they are, you see. Whereas here, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who graced those people, who He guided to a straight path. So who are they? Let's take a look at those ayahs, which give us an idea who they are. The first ayah, Surah Maryam, those were some of the prophets on whom Allah did bestow His grace, of the posterity of Adam and of those who we carried, and with Noah, and of the posterity of Ibrahim and Israel, of those, meaning Jacob, of those whom we guided and chose. Whenever the signs of the compassionate Creator were rehearsed to them, they would fall down in prostrate adoration and in tears. So who are they? الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. They are of the posterity of Adam, the prophets, and those with Noah and Ibrahim and Israel. So that tells us in general who they are. But then we have another ayah which tells us even more specifically who they are, which is in Surah An-Nisa. وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهِ, and he who obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the messenger are in the company of, now here we have, those on whom is the grace of Allah. فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. Who are they? مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ, the prophets. And who else? وَالصِّدِّيقِينَ, the sincere. وَالشُّهَدَاء, the witnesses. Now some people translate الشُّهَدَاء as the martyrs, but no, الشُّهَدَاء is the witnesses. They are part of the shuhada, but they're not all the shuhada. Shuhada is anybody who says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah from his heart. Shuhada is anybody who bears rightful witness to anything. And there's lots of proof of that in the Qur'an. One day we'll talk about that. So whoever who obeys Allah and the Messenger are the company of those upon whom is the grace of Allah, the Prophet, the sincere, the witnesses, and the Salihin, the doers of good. What a beautiful fellowship. Say, Ya Rab, Ameen. May we be among them. May we be among them. May we be among them. Ya Rabbi, Ameen. Insha'Allah, that's the sirat we are pursuing and we are asking Allah to guide us to. That's the sirat we want to be on. And when we say An'am Allahu alayhim, for us as believers in the Qur'an, the An'am we received is An'am which nobody else received, which is what? The Qur'an, the Islam, as it was completed. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? That اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي. So that the ni'mah tamma, the complete ni'mah was upon us with the Islam, with the Qur'an. Of course, is it now complete the way it was before? We do know that there were some companions who were sad to hear that because they said that nothing that was complete stayed complete except that it would start to go the other way. And that's true. Allah made it complete, but then human hand gets in there, you know. And but inshallah, if we continue to look at Qur'an with Iqra and render the Kitabullah into Qur'an just by being a good Qare, you know, in real time, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to, miracles will happen. Miracles. And I'm sure you notice it yourself just by the way you are looking at the Qur'an today. You notice miracles happening in your life. Subhanallah. As I said, after what? After we have stood on the shoulders and thanked the people who were before us, who gave us the knowledge. That's the first thing we do. But after that, we owe it to ourselves to use our own knowledge and our own effort. It's not about just knowledge. Who are you? You are nothing without your effort. You have to use your effort to get there. And of course, أن ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى وأن سعيه سوف يرى ثم يجزاه الجزاء الأوفى. يعني your sa'i, your effort, what you exert, it shall be seen. And ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى. You shall not get anything or gain anything except what you have striven for. So strive and you shall earn. And this fits Qur'an as well. It's not just, you know, worldly strive. You have to strive to gain knowledge of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you. So there's a relationship, what we call a live relationship between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not like in books anymore. Now that you know what it's to be a Qare, the relationship between you and Allah is not in a book anymore. It is in your striving, inshallah. And it makes the whole difference. And it makes life exciting. It makes life exciting. SubhanAllah, you feel that you're really alive because now your mind is alive, your spirit's alive, your heart is alive. You feel alive. So it's a whole new existence, subhanallah. Inshallah that you will get to feel, you know, those of you who have not yet gotten that excitement, that feeling, you will get it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Many of us, alhamdulillah, already have and we are, you know, over the moon. We'd love you all to be joining us with us in this. So that is Siraat al An'amta alayhim. Now what about غير المغضوب عليهم? So the path of those upon whom you have accorded your grace, not those who incurred severity. Notice that it's in the passive voice. So whenever you find the translation, not those upon whom God is wrathful or not those who earned God's wrath, there's no Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the sentence. غير المغضوب, it's in the passive tense. Notice Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. Notice He did not place Himself in that sentence. غير المغضوب عليهم. Maghdoob. Now why is it Maghdoob, not غضب Allah? Although of course Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be the one, you know, the one who is the ghadab, which is the severity. Ghadab is not anger, by the way. Ghadab is not wrath. Anger and wrath are reactions, and they usually show weakness on the part of the person reacting. Don't they say, mashallah, he's wonderful, he can hold his temper? You know, that person is so wise, mashallah, he can hold his temper. And then they say, you know, that person, subhanallah, he blows his top, you know, and he gets angry and he starts striking out, you know, and lashing out. Why would ghadab be one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes if it was what? Negative. It's not. Ghadab is severity. Allah yaghdab, walakin la يغتاظ. Al-ghayz, that's anger and wrath. Ghayz is what humans feel. Ghadab is what Allah has. We can't say He feels, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not feel. Feeling is for humans, for animals, for whatever. things that Allah created. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has ghadab. So, one thing which our friends notice now that we've been doing this for a while, that when they want to speak about Allah, they're sort of like really very wary choosing their words, because they don't want to say a word about Allah which is demeaning. Of course, it doesn't demean Allah, it just demeans your concept of Him. So the path of those upon whom you have accorded your grace, that's pertaining to you, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not those who incurred severity in the passive voice. Who incurred severity? We have here 2 ayahs. الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَمَاتُوا وَهُمْ كُفَّارٌ أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ وَالنَّاسِ أَجْمَعِينَ. Oh, so those who kafaru, denied, and then died as kuffar, these people will have the la'na, like the banishment of Allah and the angels and an-nasi ajma'in, meaning actually you as a cognizant human who worships Allah, you will be doing the la'na also upon such people. It's not just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Maghdoobi عليهم is not just Allah who is going to be severe with them. The whole universe is severe with them. The whole universe yal'anuhum. The whole universe is banishing them from, we don't want you, khalas, out. So you have in these 2 ayahs, Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran, that the la'na is from Allah, of course, and Al-Malaika and An-Nasi Ajma'in. Everybody is giving la'na, because everybody who is a righteous person gives the la'na to to those who are kuffar, or to those who do things which are harmful. So subhanallah, upon whom is God's severity? You notice several ayahs here. Unfortunately now, most of you know, of course, that the traditional way of explaining this, traditional by people, I'm not talking about traditional by tradition, it's not the sunnah or anything, but traditional, the way people used to explain this is they would say, oh, the Maghdoobi عليهم are the Yahud. And then you know what? If you say that and you're not Yahudi, Jewish, what happens is that, you know what? It's not related to you. That Allah is not Maghdoob alayki, you are not of the Maghdoob. Of course we are, or can be. Of course we can be of the Maghdoob alayna. We're not supposed to, like they say, think of ourselves as beyond that. Actually, subhanallah, what does this ayah say? Whoever deliberately kills a faithful, trusting person, then his recompense shall be hell, therein to abide, and God will be severe upon him, and will reject him, and will prepare for him great suffering. Oh, okay. وَمَنْ يَقْتُلْ مُؤْمِنًا. Why didn't I translate mu'minan as a faithful person, meaning just as a Muslim, or as a faithful as in faith? Why did I say a faithful, trusting person? Why did I say that? Because the word amana, from which the word mu'min, the word iman, is not about faith alone. It's about faith and trust. So when I say ana mu'mina billah, I have both faith and trust in Allah. Not faith as in believing in Allah. That would be musaddiq. That's a different word. So ana usaddiqu billah, meaning I believe in Allah. I'm a believer. Ana musaddiq. But this is not about tasdiq. This is about iman. And iman is to feel aman and aman in whoever you are mu'min of, you see. So the interesting thing here, I don't know if I have it in the next slide or not, is that a mu'min is a person who sometimes trusts you. And we're not talking about God here. Oh, now that changes the meaning completely. Whoever deliberately kills a faithful trusting person in him. Like if I'm killing somebody who trusts me, I'm not talking about God here. مَنْ قَتَلَ مُؤْمِنًا مُتَعَمِّدًا. How do I know that that person is mu'min? This ayah, by the way, is more leaning towards a person who is mu'min in me than a person who is mu'min in God. Why? Because how do I know that he's mu'min in God? I never opened his heart to see if he's mu'min in God. But I do know that he trusts me. So if I were to deliberately kill a person who has faith and trust in me, what does that mean? That's cold-blooded murder. Somebody who has trust in me, has faith in me, knows I will not stab him behind his back. If I deliberately kill that person, then my recompense is hell, therein to abide, and God will be severe upon me and will reject me. Very, very great suffering. Inshallah, it's not me. This scares me even by, as an example. Ya Latif. Why? Because you do not go against your covenants. You do not go against your trust. If somebody trusts you, they trust you. Khalas. You cannot go against them. Trust is the most important thing. This is high priority in Muslim dialogue today. And I have a few proofs here to show you that this is what it means, because the children of Yaqub said to him, Ma anta bimu'min lana. You are not mu'min for us. So the word mu'min is about that. that. It's not about belief, like believing in God and being mu'min. It's about having faith and trust in someone. It could be God, it could be people. فَمَا أَنْتَ بِمُؤْمِنٍ لَنَا. You are not mu'min in us. مَا لَكَ لَا تَأْمَنَّا عَلَى يُوسُف. So, of course, that follows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Mu'minun, الَّذِينَ هُمْ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ, about the mu'mineen, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. So you have an amana and you have a ahd, and you have to protect your trust. You cannot betray it. So if you kill somebody who trusts you, that is what you get. Even if that person is an enemy. If that person is an enemy, but at that moment trusts you, you cannot kill him anymore. No cold-blooded murder. It's not allowed. So Siraat al Mustaqeem, غير المغضوب عليهم. So beware of who are al-Maghdoobi aleyhim. It could be one of us, so we have to be very careful. It's not, we just say, oh, it's the Jews. No, it's not. Maybe some of them were, as far as the Qur'an says, but it's not about them alone. It's about everybody who does an act which is a holding of ghadab. And then, in the passive voice, and then, wala Dhaalleen. Oh, Dhaalleen meaning, here it says those who go astray, or those who are astray. It's not Allah who put them astray. No, it says here those who are astray, those who went astray. Interesting. In the الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, as I said, وَمَاتُهُمْ كُفَّارٌ, and then أُولَٰئِكَ جَزَاؤُهُمْ عَلَيْهِمْ لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ أَجْمَعِينَ. It shows that these people are what? Are kafaru. Allah did not make them kuffar. They kafaru. That's why they get the la'na, and they get the people, all people giving them the la'na. Those who are astray, they went astray on their own. Allah did not push them off the sirat. So here we have several ayahs about ad-Dhaalleen. I'm not going to go through them all. Just let's look at this one here. Surah An-Nisa. Verily, God does not forgive shirking Him. So what does that say? That you are the one who will shirk Allah. The person is the one who shirks Allah, not that Allah makes you mushrik. God does not forgive anybody who shirks Him, and He forgives what is less than that to whomever He will. So here talking about what? About shirk. That's the Dhaalleen. The Dhaalleen are the people who shirk Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whoever shirks Allah, whoever shirks God, has indeed strayed far astray. So you have here something dalla dalalan ba'ida. So it is, if you say somebody is dal, meaning he's astray, but he is dalla dalalan ba'ida, means he has strayed far astray. And who does that? The mushrik. So beware of shirk. And shirk is, one day we'll talk about shirk maybe. Shirk is really very dangerous. It touches us. If you say, well, I'm a believer, shirk does not touch me, it touches us in so many ways. We have to be very careful of shirk. Don't shirk Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't shirk Him. We'll talk about that inshallah one day. So whoever shirks Allah has indeed strayed far astray. We're almost done. Say, shall we tell you who are the greatest losers of deeds? قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. The greatest loser of deeds. الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Those who have been working on earth. They have sa'i, like they have been striving, but their labor has strayed in this lowly life. Dunya means low, immediate, lowly life. في الحياة الدنيا, in this lowly life, their labor has strayed. They've worked hard, but their labor has strayed. Why? They thought that they have been well devising and formulating and planning things. يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. Suna is not about deed. Suna is about planning something and actually contriving it. Masna in Arabic is a factory, something which is manufactured. So here you have those who stray in this lowly life, thinking that what they have been manufacturing, which is a little bit what? Artificial, yeah, it's not the natural way of things, that it has been well devised. May Allah forgive us. How much manufacturing is going on today? Just look around you. Fabrication of what? Of tales and stories and innuendos and this and that. Fabrication. It's all what? Sunnah. It's not a deed. It's a sunnah. So shall we tell you who are the losers, the greatest losers of deed? Those who have been fabricating in this hayat ad-dunya, thinking that what they're fabricating is good. It is they who denied their Lord's sustainers' signs, ayati rabbihim wa liqa'ihi, and they denied His meeting. Hence, all their deeds come to nothing. And no weight shall be assigned to them, meaning that person has zero weight on resurrection day, as if he didn't exist. Meaning what? Allah will not give him audience. That's enough. No audience. Their recompense will be hell. That's it. For having denied and for taking my signs and my messengers in ridicule. Ya Latif. So these are the ضالين. So غير هدينا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. It is sunnah to say Ameen. Say Ameen. So it is sunnah to say Ameen after you finish anything of Qur'an, not necessarily just the Faatihah, but the Faatihah, it's definite that is the sunnah, but you can say Ameen after anything of Qur'an. Why? So that people would know what is Qur'an and what is not Qur'an. So Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, he said that when the Imam, like when he's praying, he says غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. So say Ameen. It is Arabi, it is from Amma إذا قصد. Amma meaning, you know the word Imam. Imam is the one who is forefront and you follow him. So وهو يؤمك, يعني the Imam guides you to do what he's doing. And that's qasad, that's when you are actually putting yourself in a certain direction, directing you. So the Arab, some of the Arab have said that Ameen is Arabic. It is about qasad, meaning about that you are actually, when you say Ameen, you are intending that this is what you want. And they brought proof of that from the Qur'an. وَلَا آمِينَ الْبَيْتَ الْحَرَامِ, meaning not that those people are qasideen or going towards al-Bayt al-Haram. And this is said by al-Qushayri. So Allahu A'lam. Allahu A'lam. All we know is that we say Ameen, and that's a beautiful thing to say. So today we concluded the dynamic of Iqra brings our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to life. We talked about togetherness and entering our maqam. We talked about glorifying and supplicating to Allah all together. We talked about community and continuity and how important that is, and about time. We talked about Siraat al Mustaqeem and togetherness upon Siraat, and our relationship is with Him through His creation. And you looked at the Siraat al Mustaqeem, found all of it was about what? About the way we treat others. And of course, the importance of words, names, and attributes, and the importance of Allah's in'am. Upon whom was it? And we named the people it was upon. We prayed, may Allah ينعم علينا, upon us as well. And the earners of universal severity, we found out who they were. المغضوب عليهم, we don't want to be any of those. And those who are astray also, we don't want to be any of those, inshallah. And we said Ameen, and we concluded our talk for today. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I seek refuge in Allah from the banished deviant by the exalting attribute of Allah, the compassionate creator, the unceasingly merciful. All glorification is to Allah, Lord, sustainer of the diverse worlds, the compassionate creator, the unceasingly merciful, sovereign of the term of account. Up to now, I have been speaking in the third person. I'm talking about Allah in general, about Him, right? And then suddenly I talk to Him. You alone do we worship. You alone do we seek support of. Guide, gift us the straightened path, the path of those upon whom has been your grace, not those upon whom has been severity, nor those who are astray. Ameen ya Rabbi.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين